welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a tag video. I got this idea from watching Samantha March's video. It is called the, I don't want to get it wrong, the new makeup releases tag, the tag. And basically the whole point of this is we go over the new makeup releases from the whole year, so from all of 2020, and reminisce and talk about like the most overhyped, the best, all of that fun stuff. I don't know, I just thought it was really fun. So let's get started. I feel like 2020 has been the longest year ever and trying to think back to January seems like what even happened in January, you guys? So some of these questions might be a little bit harder for me to like think about on the spot. I should have done some pre-work for this, but I didn't. Okay, the first question is, what mainstream release lived up to the hype most this year? You know what? I'm gonna say Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez. I remember when that was released, I was initially like, ugh. Like, I think we can all agree there's been so many celebrity releases this year, the past couple of years really, but particularly this year, where it's like we're just so burnt out on the celebrity makeup lines. And I was like, Selena Gomez, like really? And I remember even seeing it in store and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna fall for it. And then I started seeing all the reviews coming out of all the influencers or like, you know, YouTuber beauty people being like, this is such a good line. And I was like, okay, I will try it out, you know? And so granted, I've only tried her blush, but that blew me away, you guys. I was fully like 100% expecting to not like it at all. The formula is different from anything I ever tried before. The application is different. Just in general, like the whole vibe of Rare Beauty originally turned me off, but that blush blew me away, you guys. Okay, the next question is, what indie release lived up to the hype most this year? So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I do not follow indie brands very much. I would like to a little bit more, and a lot of the brands I love used to be indie brands. So for example, Makeup Geek used to be an indie brand, and I bought from them when they were just, you know, Marlena had just started out and it was, you know, just this tiny little brand, and now it's sold in Targets and things like that. So I guess I will say Makeup Geek, even though I wouldn't really consider that an indie brand anymore, because it is sold at Target. But Makeup Geek had a whole brand relaunch in 2020. It was at the very beginning of 2020, I think like February or March, or maybe it was even January. She completely rebranded the entire like eyeshadow line and everything and relaunched this whole line of eyeshadows, and I was so excited. I remember watching that girl Shay's swatch video where she swatched every single one of them on her eyes, and I was like, dang, this girl is committed. And she definitely talked me into buying some of the new eyeshadows. So I picked out 9 colors, made my own little 9-pan palette, and I do think that it definitely lived up to the hype. I think this was a very unfortunate year for that rebrand to happen, because I think it happened like right before the pandemic or within a couple of months before the pandemic, and it just got swept under the rug along with like every new release for a while. Like pretty much anything that happened before March was just kind of swept under the rug, and then from March to like July, I feel like there was no new releases and everybody was in this weird state of like, what do we do? What's going on with the world? Do we talk about makeup? Do we not talk about makeup, you know? And so I just think the timing was kind of unfortunate, but I do think that that rebrand was really good. Okay, the next question is, which releases did not live up to the hype? I hate talking negatively about things because I'm a pretty positive person, so it makes me nervous to answer this question. But I think what initially comes to mind for me is Patrick Starr's One Size Beauty brand. I remember, so his first products from the launch were like the makeup remover, the wipes and the spray, and I remember thinking that was a little odd for an initial release. I understand why. I know Samantha March was talking about this in her video too. I understand why he went with makeup remover with the whole like, the backstory. It totally makes sense. But I found that that was a little odd. And then very shortly after, he did go ahead and release some color. So he released a palette and like the glitter toppers, and I was really excited about that. But I remember reading the comments on Trendmood when she like sneak peeked it, and people were not excited about it at all. They were like, another neutral palette. It looks like every palette I already have. I don't need it. Why would he do that? He's Patrick Star. He should do something more colorful. And like every single comment, hundreds of thousands of comments were just like ragging on this palette. And I think that just put like a really bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I mean, I personally really like the palette. I think this year in general has not been a good palette year for me because of the whole pandemic and the stay at home. And I became a stay-at-home mom this year on top of the stay-at-home orders that were issued. And so it's just like this whole, you're not really leaving the house, you don't really have a reason to do your makeup type thing. So palettes in general did not live up to the hype for me. But I just think One Size Beauty for the general population was kind of like a meh. Okay, the next question is, what was the biggest curved ball? I think you can interpret this question a couple of different ways. The way that Samantha March approached it is she said like, well, the pandemic in general was a big curveball because I know a lot of brands had to shut down, like ColourPop had to shut down their entire factory because all of their employees had to stay home, and they didn't put out new products for like months, which was like, what, for ColourPop? So the pandemic in general, I think, is a huge curveball for the makeup community. I know for months there, people were just like not buying things, unsure of what was going on in the world. And I think nobody expected any of that to happen. So that was a huge curveball. But I'm going to approach this question a little bit differently. And I'm going to talk about a product that I wasn't expecting to like, but I completely fell in love with, and that is tubing mascaras. So the first tubing mascara I tried, it was like in March, I think, was the Thrive Cosmetics tubing mascara. I thought I really liked that, but then I tried the Hourglass tubing mascara, the Unlocked, is it Unleashed? I always call it the wrong thing. The Unlocked mascara, and you guys, I don't know if I can ever use another mascara and love it as much as I love that mascara. It is so good. And I loved the original Hourglass, the Caution mascara, but the fact, so I was like, oh, I can't love anything as much as I love that one, but oh my god, that mascara completely took me off guard, and I absolutely love it. It coats your lashes and definitely does give them an extension effect. I think I also started using that at the same time that I started using a lash serum, the Grande Cosmetics lash serum, which was another product I wasn't expecting to like, and I ended up like loving it. My lashes, I'm wearing falsies today, but when I'm not wearing falsies, my lashes look so good. They're so long and so fluffy, and so I think both of those products were kind of like a, whoa, I was not expecting to like them, but I totally did. The next question is, what was the biggest letdown snooze fest of the year? So I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with which releases did not live up to the hype. I feel like that those are very similar questions. But what pops into my mind with this question is the Lady Gaga brand. Although I think that was technically released in 2019, but it's all kind of blurring together for me. So I'm going to say it was released in 2020. And I remember when I had originally heard of that, I was kind of excited because Lady Gaga, I mean, it makes sense that she would have a makeup brand, right? Because she's so like avant-garde and just out there, and like, it makes sense. But when I heard it was only going to be sold on Amazon, I was like, that seems weird to me. I don't picture myself buying beauty products on Amazon. I just don't. I feel like Amazon is for like house goods and, you know, random stuff here, maybe some clothes here and there, but like beauty products, definitely not where I would go to buy beauty products. So I feel like that just kind of started the brand on a wrong foot. I also feel like since the initial launch, I haven't really heard anything about Lady Gaga's brand at all. People don't talk about it. I feel like that one was just a snooze fest. It is just a snooze fest. The next question is, what was the best makeup collab of the year? I feel like there's a lot of collabs this year. A lot of collabs with not just big influencers, but also like smaller influencers too, which I appreciate so much. I am a micro influencer, so it just warms my heart and makes me so excited to see people that are, you know, my size channel, maybe a little bit larger, collabing with major brands. It is so, so exciting, and there were so many of them this year, and I could probably name a ton of them. I also noticed a lot of influencers are coming out with their own brands this year, which makes me so excited because it brings me back to the whole, like, if they can do it, I can do it mentality, you know? And so I know obviously like Makeup Geek Marlena started it all with her, you know, being an influencer and then starting her own brand. But ever since then, like, influencers have slowly been starting their own brands. And I know a lot of it started last year and the year before, but this year I feel like there's just been a ton. So as far as like a true collab, I have to say I'm really, really excited for Samantha March and Ofra's collab. I know I've talked about her a lot, but that's because I got this video idea from her. I actually received her entire collab with Ofra in PR, and I was really impressed. I love her blush. Her blush is super pretty. It's that pinky mauve that I really, really like. And then I also really, really liked her bronzer. It's like, it kind of reminds me of the Too Faced Sun Bunny, where it's like half bronze or half shimmer, half matte. And I know that she put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of thought into that collab. I feel like a lot of influencers will mention their collab video for a while, hype it up, and then they never really talk about it ever again. But Samantha March continuously talks about her collab, and because of that, it continuously reminds me that I should use her products from her collab. And you can just tell that she's so proud of the work that she did, which makes me so proud of her, and I really enjoy that collab. Okay, the next question is, what was the best holiday release this year? I think this is definitely going to depend, as are all these questions, but definitely going to depend on like your brand preference and like your makeup preferences. But I was so excited about the Charlotte Tilbury holiday releases this year. This year, 2020, was like the year of Charlotte Tilbury for me. At the beginning of the year, like January, February, I bought so much Charlotte Tilbury, and then in February, I got a PR package of all of her Pillow Talk stuff. And I just completely fell head over heels in love with the brand this year. I was dabbling in it in 2019 and I think even a little bit in 2018, but 2020 was really like, I am tried and true, like groupie all the way. And so I was really pumped to see what she was going to release for her holiday collection this year. And a lot of it was so exciting. I wish I could have purchased it all. But the main thing I was so excited for was her highlighter. I have been dying for her to come out with a powder highlighter. She has really, really nice cream highlighters, but the only powder highlighter that she has is in her Filmstar Bronze and Glow Split Pan little palette, which is a good highlighter, but sometimes you just want a highlighter, you know what I mean? So this is her first powder highlighter, like individual powder highlighter, and it's just for the holidays, which is kind of stinky. Hopefully she makes it permanent, we'll see, but here's what it looks like. It is so pretty. I'm actually wearing it on my cheeks today. It's one of those highlighters that is very natural, but you can definitely build it up if you wanted to give you more of a glow. You just have to keep building and building. It's so pretty. I think the tone of it and the color of it would work really well for lots of different skin tones. It's not a stark white, which some highlighters are, and that only works for a certain skin tone, you know what I mean? Whereas this one has some tint to it. It's a lot like Becca Opal, where it has just like, it's just a more universally flattering color on a lot of different people. And the pan is humongous and the packaging is so nice. Okay, the next question, or the last question, is what are your predictions for releases during the next year? I feel like the releases are going to be very similar to how they have been this year, whereas most brands, I mean, like Too Faced pops into my mind, where 2019, 2018, they were pumping out collections like crazy. I felt like every month, every other month, there was something new from Too Faced. Whereas this year, they really slowed down, but for the better. I feel like brands are being a little bit more mindful with their releases. I think they're aware that people aren't buying as much because of the pandemic, because people have been laid off or they're working from home. They're not going out as much, not wearing as much makeup. People in general are being much more mindful, much more minimal with their makeup purchases. And so I feel like brands in general are also now being more mindful with what they release, the timing of their releases, maybe not as much, better quality instead of quantity, and that really excites me. I miss the days where brands just released for the seasons. They had like a spring release, a summer release, a holiday release, a fall release. You know, that used to be, and it was exciting because you can anticipate those seasonal releases and you weren't so overwhelmed with an oversaturated market with all of these like fast fashion, you know, I think like fast makeup. So I kind of miss those days, and I feel like a lot of brands are going back to that, which really excites me. I also kind of think that, or I kind of fingers crossed hope that blush has its moment in 2020, because I feel like, so like mascara had its moment in 2020. Did I say 2020, 2021? Mascara had its moment in 2020. Like there was a good couple of months where I feel like every brand was releasing some sort of mascara. And then usually like foundation has its moment, brows has its moment, but I feel like cheeks, blush has not had its moment yet, and I hope that 2021 is the year for cheeks. I love blushes, I love cheek products. All right guys, well that is my take on the new makeup release tag for 2020. If you want to check out Samantha's video, she did do it in collab with another creator, so I will link both of their videos down below. They're kind of the ones who started this whole thing. If you want to film this video yourself, I will link the questions down below for you so that you can see what the questions are and film this video yourself. But other than that, I hope that you enjoyed watching, and I'll talk to you next time.